This is the view from the terrace wall. We are building up brick by brick with some of the biggest characters and personalities ever to have starred in Scottish football. So far, we have Tommy Coyne and, inexplicably, Bill Mosney. Don't know whose idea that was. But Ray, since you're a Partick Thistle fan, we thought this is the perfect opportunity to get you to nominate someone. There have been some colourful characters that are starred for the Jags over the years. Who do you want to put into this wall?
Yeah, when you talk about legends and characters in Scottish football, with Thistle, there's one name that's synonymous, and that's the late, great John Lambie. There's a brilliant documentary we can talk about, Grasping the Thistle, from the 2001-2002 season, and even better than that, I've brought along the Thistle legend that is also Chic Charnley.
Chic Charnley, what a build-up. Great to have you in the show tonight. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be here, cheers.
Now, you've got a long-standing relationship with John Lambie. I know that you still refer to him as the gaffer. What was John Lambie like?
He was just a brilliant person. Anytime I was under Lambie, you were comfortable. He made you feel good, but he was a fantastic manager. Didn't get credit he deserved. Some of the stories he done was bonkers.
What was the most bonkers thing that you saw him do?
Well,
that you can repeat on television?
I know. We were training one day, and the kids used to go up to the canal bank and hit their golf balls into the stadium. So we were running around the park, and 3 or 4 golf balls were lying on the ground. So I picked one up, and I lobbed it and hit the back of the gaffer's head. So he said, "Who's that?" I said, "That's the kids up there." After training, I decided to tell him. I said, "Gaffer, that was me to hit you with that ball." He said, "Is that right?" He said, "I'll get you back." So thought nothing of it. Friday, come in for training, get in the dressing room. He stood up in a chair behind the door with a medicine ball and dropped it right in my head. I said, "You could have killed me." He said, "I wish I would have."
John Lambie was the star of the documentary Grasping the Thistle. It charted the club's championship winning season of 2001-2002. This was the year that you had a season ticket, your first season ticket at the club. What are some of your favourite memories of John Lambie for that year?
So I'd been to a few games before that, and that was the first one I started going regularly, and it was just the best time. And that's what I wanted to ask Chic, because it seemed like Lambie was very good at bringing together a bunch of misfits. When you look at that team, I mean, he brought you 4 times, which says a lot. Why do you think he was so good at bringing those players together?
He always seemed to get the best out of mediocre players, myself included. I mean, and then players who had bought very cheap and then sell them on. He was brilliant at it.
One of the more amusing scenes from the documentary is in a public park in Blackpool, I think it is, when a couple of directors came in and watched training. John Lambie told them if the ball went somewhere, they had to go and collect it.
We'll do the wee movement ones, near post runs and that. Can't you? Nothing strenuous, do you?
No, we'll do the passing, aye.
And then you can put them onto that one. And then we'll do the wee pattern they play. The dead ball line getting across. And tell the 2 directors to get the balls back quick, Jerry.
OK then, right.
What was his relationship with directors like?
The chairman, Jim Oliver, top businessman, dead polite. I'll tell you a story. Jim ended up getting the gaffer a Mercedes thing. It was about 5-6 year old, a big, beautiful car. And he gave it to the gaffer. He said, "John, you take that." And after about 2 months, the gaffer sold it and bought a wee van for his pigeons. And Jim says to him, "What did you do?" "What happened to him?" "My Mercedes." The gaffer said, "It was too big for me, Jim." He bought a wee van for his pigeons.
What about the pigeons? It just seems like with John Lambie, you think Partick Thistle and pigeons.
This is my way of relaxing, you know. Get your mind away from football and all different things. But the main thing is, I don't keep them for the funny, I keep them to win. I'm not in it for second prize.
He'd done a thing for BBC, and it was he had this pigeon. It was called Chico after me. And he said, "What do you call that for?" He said, "Because that doesn't do with its fucking tail either."
There's a great scene in the Grasping the Thistle documentary where we've drawn, and he's standing up, and Martin Cameron is standing there, a player we got on loan, who's probably relatively new to the team, pretty ripped. And Lambie's having a go at him, talking about how unfit he is and all this stuff.
You gave us a shift and that's all we fucking asked for. Don't ask for no more. Work your balls off. And you're still no fucking fit, as you can be. But you're getting a wee bit better every week.
What was he like in the dressing room? Would he try to tear you down, build you back? What was it like?
You know how to wind him up. No, I mean, he seen me having, he was ripping, he said, "You're looking fat" and all that. But there was a method in that. But he used to go to the weaker players in the dressing rooms and go like that. Are you letting him say that to you and all that? And then we give him confidence. I mean, that's the type of things he done.
Would he ever call you clever?
No.
Did anyone ever step up to him?
Aye, but we did. Well, I'll tell you a story. We went to Blackpool when traditionally took us down there to prepare for the Scottish Cup. They came in with the chairman this night, and we were all sitting, let's have a few drinks. And Callum Mullen, the gaffer, was giving Callum it. He was drunk. No, he was giving Callum power, so Callum was giving it back. But he went over and he tried to hit Callum, tried to punch him, and Callum punches the gaffer. So the next day we're sitting at breakfast, and the gaffer comes down. We're all sitting, so we're looking at we're looking up. And next minute, he's got a wee black eye, the gaffer, and he's walked over to Callum Mullen and went, good punch, wee man.
How did it work out? See, when we guys like we sign Peter Lindau from Sweden and stuff like that, or we sign guys who maybe don't have English as their first language, how did they get on with the manager?
They used to just stare. I've seen players who didn't know and go, what's happening here? You know what I mean? Because you just come in and just throw things. You know what I mean? And they would just stare like, I'm not staying here.
One thing that I wanted to get across is that he is a great character and everything like that, but he's generally one of the best managers my football club have ever had, and very successful. When they talk about the documentary, the Save the Jags era, 1997 onwards, he got his back-to-back promotions, which is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he gets the credit he deserves.
Walter Smith, God rest him, and Martin O'Neill, they were the managers, Rangers and Celtic this year, and the gaffer got the manager of the year. I would have liked to have seen them try to work with the budget, although they were brilliant managers, with the budget that the gaffer had at Thistle and clubs he's been at.
One of the best moments from the documentary, I think, was right at the end where they had the celebrations for winning the league, and then they wanted Lambie to do a speech, but again, instead of speech, he just started singing the Park Thistle song. There was something so heartwarming about it.
Players were the people, and he wanted the players to get the limelight, and that's the way the man is.
Follow Thistle, follow Partick Thistle. There's not a team like the Fairhill Jags. By the way, we don't fear anyone, anytime, night or day. So fly the flag, keep it flying high, and follow us everywhere. Oh, oh.
That's beautiful, that bit. Genuinely.
I thought you were going to cry.
It's the fact, I think in so many different parts of that scene, you know, he starts singing the song and then you see a big cigar coming up to his ring, and then out of nowhere a glass of port as well.
In the documentary, we win the league at St Mirren, and then I think it's 1 or 2 games later, last game of the season, we played Inverness Cali away. Big lot of us went up, and in absolutely true Thistle fashion, we've just won the league. We're 3-0 down after about 15 minutes, and the end of the game, we lost 3-0. All the fans were on the pitch, and Lambie got up and sang the song that he did in the documentary. But his opening line was just like, "Thank you for coming, we were shite."
We've talked a lot about John Lambie, and I think his place within the wall, I think we can all agree that's absolutely undisputed. He's going to go in there. But let's talk about yourself, Chic. You've got a reputation as perhaps being one of the greatest players never to be capped by Scotland, but you've also got a reputation as being an absolute head case. So you were sent off 17 times during your career. You talk us through some of those red cards. Were they all deserved?
Your card was marked. You know what I mean? After a while, some of the things were definitely my own fault, but other ones, other players would have got away with. And because it was me, your reputation preceded you, and that was the reason.
Do you have a favourite?
No, not a favourite, no.
Do you have one that you look back on and think, actually, that was all right?
We were playing Rangers at Ibrox, and it was a reserve game, and I kicked John McDonald just about the neck. That was ridiculous. And I get sent off, and at the time there was 2 policemen who were on duty, and there was, I think, about 2,000 people in the main stand at Ibrox. And I get sent off, and they were shouting. The 2 poles grabbed me and threw me up the tunnel. As soon as I done it, as soon as I get sent off, as soon as you're in the dressing room, you're like, no, you totally regretted it. And then you had the gaffer coming in after you.
Do you think that reputation might have held you back then for kicking on?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because you see, if you're not going to win the park, you're no good to him.
One of the things you're also quite well known for was chasing off a samurai sword-wielding teenager at training.
That was mad, because we're training at Firhill, and a lady has walked by 10 minutes previous with a wee dog, so it's nipped at one of the boys' ankles. So 10 minutes later, these 2 guys come up, they're walking by, they're the dog, and we were wary because of what happened previously. So we stood, and they recognised me, and they started giving me stick. And I said, come back after training, think they're going to come back. So about 15 minutes later, we see these 2 guys coming up the hill. One's got a sword, and one's got this wee dagger. And so now I picked up a traffic cone. That was stupid. You think about it. So anyway, that was that. My wife was in hospital at this time, right? So I went to the hospital and get stitches in my hand, and then goes up to see her at the visit, 2 o'clock visit. She said, what happened to your hand? I said, oh, slipped in a bit of glass and cut my hand. She said, oh, that's a shame. What's to that effect? So that night I goes up to the night visit and she's sitting there, face like fizz. I said, what's wrong? It was on Scotland Today.
To sum up, Chic, what does Partick Thistle, the club, what does it mean to you?
It was just brilliant for me. The fans took to me, you know, and it was every club I played at, right enough, the fans were good to me. But Thistle was absolutely brilliant for me.
What about John Lambie, Chic Charnley, as a Partick Thistle fan, what do they mean to you?
Absolute cult heroes. I mean, me and Chic did play in a game of football together in a testimonial, and he did swear at me repeatedly. So I feel like I've summoned the John Lambie from him to me now.
Did he deserve it? Did he deserve it?
I was hopeless.
Yeah, I was. Oh, I was so hopeless, so hopeless. John Lambie rescued our club from the doldrums and then took us back to the top flight and kept us in it. So, an incredible legend. And guys like Chic, who are big characters to your team, but also the fans love them. And a bit of personality in football nowadays is amazing to see.
No, I think it goes without saying that certainly John Lambie, he is a brick in the wall. And another person making the brick in the wall, Chic Charnley. Welcome to the wall. How does it feel?
Aye, good.
That's how everyone wants to see themselves immortalised in brick form.